Welcome to the Redvee TV preview show, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2022 season, as we look ahead to St Helens Round 4 clash this Friday evening away at Hull KR. Kevin, I believe you can't wait.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to it. A lovely trip over to Hull KR, be able to see the ferries leaving the ports. Always a good day, isn't it?
Will you be in a position to deliver an instant fan reaction for Redvee? That is what we need to know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will. Why'd you ask?
Because I'm relying on you, Kev.
Yeah, I'll be compass mentis. Yes.
Well, that'd be a first. The big news of the week, Kevin. Real shock squad news emerging out of the club. There has been a change to the 21-man squad.
Pack it all in.
That means we've got to do a recording. Nobody's realised we've done the same one for the last 3 games.
It's enforced as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's enforced. Curtis Sirenan being banned for his late hit right towards the end of the game against Wakefield, meaning James Bell comes in. Bit of an obvious one, I think.
Yeah, obviously the ban that Curtis Sirenan's picked up, the challenge was pretty much identical to Sio Matautia's before the cup final last year against Wakefield, wasn't it? Just that late hit as the ball's gone. The way that he's gone in with the shoulder a little bit. In years gone by, it looks like nothing. But these days, it's pretty much just always going to cop a 1-game ban. And the club have took it on the chin, haven't they? And he'll miss out this week.
Yeah, I think when you've got the threat of action for head injuries and the associated illnesses, diseases that come along with that, the disciplinary panel are always going to try and eradicate them from the game. Some are worse than others, obviously, and they're going to try and eradicate them from the game. There's a fine line between keeping the game tough and keeping big hits in there, but also maintaining the future of the sport and the future of the players of the sport. And I think some fans still want to see players having their blocks knocked off, and some fans want to go completely the other way. But I think there is a happy medium in the middle, and hopefully we can get there with it. I know I've noticed I've got a notification earlier that Sinbin had been put to get its rod stud. Does that, doesn't he? With Paul Cullen and Robert Hicks, and I think they go through the issues with the disciplinary and kind of stuff that fans want to ask about or might want clarifying, and that'll help as well, I think, or it should help. It should push us towards finding out, even if we don't agree why decisions have been made, finding out why they've been made,
and still leave none the wiser.
Well, listen. If the thing is, people are always going to, and I'm not saying that I agree with every decision that's made at all. People are always going to find fault in things, but as long as it's consistent, as long as, like every challenge, like Curtis Sirenan, where we've not got a problem with that getting a game ban, if every one of them is going to get a game ban, every one of those challenges in a game. So if a team does 3 in a game, all 3 of their players get banned, then you turn around and you say fine about it. If everyone who hits kind of go back to the Leeds Wire game where one of the high shots came up off the body, hit the head, he got a yellow card. Was it Ollie Holmes? Got a yellow card. I don't know if he got banned. If he got banned, it wasn't for very long. Okay, fine. James Bentley, where he goes in, direct contact to the head, looks like he's going in. I know at the time Kendall said he went in with a closed fist. Whether he did or didn't is another matter. But he's gone in to hit Widdop, got it wrong. And I think sometimes like people will turn around and go, well, that used to not be a card. That was just a big hit. It was just a big tackle. Luke Gale against Saints a couple of weeks ago goes in, and it's the old if he traps the ball instead of catching Lomax, it's not a red card. Well, you know what? If my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. It doesn't matter. If Bentley hits him a little bit further down, then it's not a red card because he hits him on the shoulder, doesn't hit the head. It's not a red card. Luke Gale catches him. It's a red card. You can't do it. So all these ifs and buts, as long as we start getting consistent things, all these ifs and buts will hopefully start going out of the game. And I did censor myself there when I said the anti-having balls thing. Anyway, soapbox away. Squad.
I was about to say, these days, that wouldn't necessarily make her your uncle.
No, true.
So,
true.
Yes. We have to get with the times, Kev.
Yeah, with the times, that's correct, yeah. You know the what about.
Will we learn a lot from the squad this week in terms of how Christian Wolf intends to use it? Or maybe a little bit of an intention of where he intends to use Conrad Harrell. Now, I'm saying that based on if this entire squad is fit and there's nobody carrying any knocks, and that's what we're choosing from. Because obviously, if everybody's fit, you'd assume that Will Hopoate comes back in at centre. Then does Conrad Harrell move on to the wing ahead as Josh Sim? Does he move to replace Kurt Sirenen on the bench and be used in a forward role? Or does Jake Wingfield or Kyle Amor come onto the bench instead of Kurt Sirenen? Or does James Bell come in as a like-for-like replacement? There's so many options there. I think the only one I'll hang my hat on is that Ben Davis isn't going to be in the 17.
Yeah. I think you mentioned, is it going to be having a look where Harrell will play? I think if Will Hopoate is fit, he'll go out onto the wing. I think Conrad will stay in the centres. I think that's how we started that way in Alex Walmsley's testimonial. We started that way in the first game of the season. I think if Christian Wolf decides Will Hopoate is fit enough, and as we're saying, everybody is as 100% as they can be, he may well go with the experience of Will Hopoate out on the wing.
Sorry, just to counter that though, as Josh Sims' performances in the last couple of games on the wing not moved him up in the rankings a little bit for that wing spot, potentially ahead of Harrell?
Possibly.
Being in them positions in the centres of the wing.
Yeah, I think, and listen, I don't know what he's going to do because, again, it's one of them that I know Christian Wolf's saying that he's Hopoate's fit, but he said that over the past couple of weeks as well. I think if Josh Sim was to lose his place, I think that he would be very, very unlucky. I think he's come in and he's kind of shown a bit of a maturity. And I know people have said that he's been caught out with us, kind of with the kicks that have kind of gone to his side and he's been out of position. And people have levelled that at Hopoate. I think it's just because we defend narrow. So I don't necessarily think that's a Josh Sim or Will Hopoate problem. I think it's just teams having to throw the kitchen sink at us by doing something completely different.
Yeah, and I think the only reason you stop that when Regan Grace plays there, potentially, is because he's a freak of nature with his pace.
Yeah, he's got extra pace, yeah. Correct.
And it maybe gets you out of them situations a little bit, but listen, you can't manufacture pace.
Yeah. Well, it's true. That's it. It's not something that you can get it a little bit better, but when you're as fast as Regan Grace, that's just natural ability. It's not like you could turn around and like change, I don't know, Matty Lees into a sprinter. Sorry, Matty, but you're not going to change him into a sprinter over the next 10 years, are you? Or not one who's going to be as quick.
I've been trying to get my 100 meters time down for the last 37 years, and I still can't get it under 10.5 seconds.
I thought you were going to say minutes. If we go back to the squad, as I say, I think Sim would be unlucky. But listen, his first choice there at the start of the season was Hopewati and Harrell. He may just go with that again. With regards to the someone coming in on the bench, I know we've had one. Was it Phil Lothian on Twitter saying move Harrell into second row and drop Hopewati in at centre? I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I don't think Harrell's a second row. I don't know how many times he's played second row. I think we've got enough second rowers in that 21-man squad to not have to put someone in there. We don't usually do polls on Redvee on the Twitter. And I put one out today just because I wanted to see what people thought of who would drop in. I did. Hang
on. Let me vote, and then I'll tell you the results if you come up with the question.
You can't. The final results were up. It was done by 6 o'clock today.
Oh, hang on. Oh, well, you tell us the question, and then I'll tell you what I would have voted for.
Oh, all right. Who do you want to see replace Kurt Sirenen in the matchday 17 on Friday? Kyler Moore, Jake Winfield, James Bell, Ben Davies.
I will suggest. My answer would have been I would like to see Jake Wingfield in there. I suggest, without knowing the poll results, that James Bell would have got the highest percentage.
59% James Bell.
And I base that on the fact that people want to see him because they've not seen him, and that's why.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Kyler Moore got 25% and Jake Wingfield 13%, with Ben Davies getting 2%. That
25%, Kev, was our good friend Ellie, who is Kyle Amor's number one fan, who is currently signed up for 245 Twitter accounts to be able to vote for him.
Just keep him voting for him, so he appears.
When I say Kyle Amor's number one fan, that's not to suggest that he hasn't got a massive fan club anyway.
Yeah, like number one as in she's the biggest fan, not number one as in she's the old. Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah, listen, people have said James Bell.
Don't want Kyle staring you down in a service station coming back from
Yorkshire services again. That's the most frightened I've ever been as well from a rugby player. Yeah, I'm the same as you. I'd vote Jake Wingfield to come in though. So sorry, Kyle. Sorry, James Bell, and sorry, Ben Davies. I'd vote Jake Wingfield, and the reason is we're replacing a second row with a second row there. Jake Wingfield can play down the middle if he needs to. He can do a stint at 9, even though you probably won't need him with regards to having Roby and Lussick. Can if needs really, really must. He's had game time over at Lee, and Lee were very happy with him. And I just think that might give him a little bit more sharpness over Kyler Moore and over James Bell at the moment.
At the end of the day, Jake Wingfield is the future.
Yeah.
And with all due respect to Kyler Moore, he isn't Saints' future. And I think he knows his role within the squad this year as well. It's to support, it's to train hard, it's to help develop our young players. And he'll get a few games. And at the end of the day, listen, Kyle Amor's future is in a commentary box because he's very, very good at it.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. I think you've got to do it game by game. And if Kyler Moore in Christian Wolf's eyes is the right person to come in for the next 10 games, I don't think it matters if Jake Wingfield is the future and Ben Davies is the future. I think you've got to do it game by game. You can't be planning on a year or two down the line based on one game here. But like saying that, as we've just both said, we'd probably go for Jake Wingfield. My reasoning behind it is he may well be a little bit match sharp because he's had game time over at Lee compared to the other two. Equally, wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see Kyler Moore. He was in and around the 17 last year. He's yeah, he's been there or thereabouts, and he gets written off. And listen, there are reasons for that. People will write off your older players. He can do big minutes, as Christian Wolf's alluded to. If he thinks that that's what he needs instead of a young lad coming in there, then that's what we'll go with. And listen, you know what you're getting from Kyle, as you've just said yourself.
Yeah, and listen, it's absolutely no disrespect for Kyle, because when Kyle plays, he's professional. But you say we can't look to the future. I believe that we can.
I've not said that.
No, when you say you look at it on a game-by-game basis, I think you do look ahead and I say that on the basis of the way the league is decided. Saints are good. Listen, I think we can, given something unbelievable happening, which the way the world is current in time, you wouldn't rule out, Saints are going to finish in the top two. It gives you an opportunity to rest, rotate, blood, and give game time to blood players, because listen, Jake Wingfield in the next year or two is going to be a mainstay in our 17, you presume. So the more game time we can get into him when the opportunity arises, for me, you take the opportunity. And this week with Kurt Sirenen suspended, for me, you get him into the squad.
Well, I agree with getting him into the squad. I think that Christian Wolf doesn't listen yet. He may have one eye on the future, but I think he does literally go game by game. Otherwise, we'd have seen a lot more rotation. And we have this conversation week after week. We've started chatting about it today and saying we've had the same 21-man squad. He's not dragged anybody in and said, listen, Ben, you're going to go and play a little bit of reserves, or you're going to go over to Lee and play a game over there with Lee, and I'm going to bring someone else in. I'm going to bring Danny Hill. I'm going to bring someone like that in just to give him a taste around. That's not what happens. I think he just picks the right player for that next game. I think that's the future of the club is currently under his stewardship, and yet he's doing the right thing. He's brought young lads through. He's got that right mix of Saints-based young lads, or Saints Academy-based young lads, and older professionals, whether they be British, whether they be from Australia, Tonga, New Zealand, wherever. But listen, he's just looking at winning this next game. And if he can, he'll throw someone in. And I do think, as I've just said, that the right thing to do is put Jake Wingfield in.
Isn't it really good, though, that whatever 17 he picks, he generally always gets it right? And do you know what? For me, there's no argument. Listen, if you want to throw Ben Davies into that 17, then I think Christian Wolf has earned the respect of everyone so we know that he knows best.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's it. If Ben Davies is going to come in because he thinks, right, I'm going to play you the last 15 minutes, or you're going to get 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and that's the right thing for the team, you're right. He's earned that. He's earned that right. By being successful, you earn the right to be the one who calls the shots. Otherwise, you're out. We've seen that with coaches in the past. You look back at the likes of, say, Royce Simmons, you look back at the likes of Kieran Cunningham, who it hasn't quite worked out for, so they haven't continued in the post. He's obviously been able to call the shots, and rightly so. You can't argue with it.
Hull Chaos squad, Kevin. You have to say that they must be shitting themselves about playing us.
I believe they have been. It'd be interesting to see what 17 Tony Smith puts out, though, because if they have had illness, will he want to take a risk on quite a few of them? Lachlan Coote has had a little bit. He's had a tight hamstring as well. So if he's got little bits of injury worries and fitness worries, be interesting to see. You're giggling away to yourself there. Be interesting to see what 17 he puts out.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Kane Linnett lines up. Will Linnett leave a win it in the tackle?
I thought you were going to make a joke about there being no number 2 in that 21-man squad.
Oh, we're too good, aren't we, Kev?
I wouldn't go that far, but
if Matt Parcell gets caught short, will he leave a little parcel on the pitch?
No. Right, that's enough for them. You had your fun with the Harry Balls one last week. You've had your fun.
If Will's a bit constipated, does it feel like daggers?
Oh, no.
Is that the Greg Richards in the squad?
It is.
He snuck in, didn't he?
Saints grand final winning prop, Greg Richards. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think he moved up from London, didn't he? That's it. They've got some, like, you have a look through that squad. I mean, they're another year older, but they've got some experienced heads in there. Obviously, Lachlan Coote, we just spoken about, Sean Kenny Dowell, Ryan Hall, Matt Parcell, Kane Lynette, all good players. Corbin Sims. Elliot Minchella's one of the interesting ones because he's been out long-term with injury. I think he went over to... Who did he go to on loan for a game, just to get some game time? I can't think who it was. But he'll be looking to get back in as well. And I always like Jez Litton. He always looks lively at 9. So, yeah, there's quite a few to kind of keep your eye on. But that's it. We've got to go over there and we've got to be confident in our defence. We're not conceding too many points, so hopefully we can continue that on Friday.
Yeah, Mikey Lewis, rising star at Hull KR. He's dropped into the England night squad, hasn't he, with Lewis Dodd getting named in the England squad this week. And I've just been talking on the Red Robins YouTube show, which we will link to in the chat, by the way, because it's a really good listen, just like ourselves. Self-praise. Yeah. And obviously they were saying how good he's been for them. And I think I was discussing on there, and I was basically saying, like, for years we were developing a lot of props, weren't we, and a lot of forwards. But we've struggled in the halves, and then all of a sudden now we've got the likes of Mikey Lewis, Lewis Dodd, Will Price at Huddersfield all coming through at the same time. Real competition are going to be for the international side next couple of years, and hopefully we can keep them in Super League.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's a good time for the sport when that happens. Obviously, you need to continue bringing through your forwards as well as your backs, because we do seem to go through feast and famine, don't we? I remember years ago when God bless him, we used to have to play Paul Wellens on the wing for Great Britain. He had no pace. That's not what your wingers should be. Your wingers should be one of your quickest players on the pitch, and we had to do that. So it is great, and that's it. You name England internationals, Jordan Abdul, and playing alongside Mikey Lewis. They will try something different. They will attempt to kind of do what Wakefield have tried doing against us, do what Hull tried doing against us, and keep us honest and keep us guessing. Got probably a bit of a better kicking game, and between the two of them, they've got the double threat there as well. So as I say, we've just got to kind of keep aware to what they could be doing on, say, the second, third, and fourth tackles, rather than just thinking they're going to take 5 drives and a kick in. Yeah,
I've always seen Hull KR as one of those places that you go to and you'd always struggle. The crowd can get really vocal behind the team. It gets really hostile when things aren't going the way. They get on the referee's back. And it's always struck me as one of those places that we always struggle at and you'd always find it tough. But then I see a stat today that tells me that we've won our last 10 games against them in all comps since 2015, since they last defeated us. And I find that quite mind-blowing. Maybe we were just stuck in the past.
Possibly. I mean, sorry to put you on the spot. Do you know any of the results from them? Have many been close? Have they been... are you going to get these up now? Yeah, are they close? Are they not? Because I'm the same as you. I think it's one of those, because it's the old style ground, and they're doing bits up there with it as well, with is it Craven Street? that they do at the back, Craven Street, sorry, that they do at the back. They're trying the best with it. They're trying to make it more of a match day experience, which I think is brilliant and genuinely do. Their fans are vocal. Their fans are passionate. But I tell you what, there's some of the best fans that you'll get in the league as well. Remember being over there years and years ago when the old stand that's now been rebuilt had been condemned, so they could only sit so many people in it. And I ended up in the bar with them, pretty much on halfway, having a chat with them.
Oh, by mistake, Kevin, you just happened to end up in the bar.
Yeah, why not? But it was a freezing cold day as well. And they were a great lot. They were a fantastic lot. Absolutely no problem with them at all. And but still, it's one of them places that you think we go over there and we struggle. So I'm surprised that we've won that many, but I suppose it may only tell half the story. It may be that we've absolutely hammered them every time over there. I genuinely can't remember.
That's the problem with going to Hull KR. It's a long journey there and a long journey home, and people don't tend to remember what they've seen.
Yeah.
So just for your benefit, Kevin, because I'm that good.
Thank you.
Last 10 meetings. Obviously, we last time we played Hull, when Hull were at KR were at home. I got told off for calling them Hull before, not Hull KR or KR.
Did you?
I'm not getting involved in petty inner city rivalries. If you don't want Hull in your name, don't have Hull in your name. 25-0 in Hull KR's home game at Saints. It's a bit naughty that, isn't it, putting that as a home game for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of close ones there, isn't there? When we've been over there, 31-22, 42-26, 32-18, but it was Warrington. But you look at that record. Obviously, we played them 29 times, and Hull KR have won 9 out of that, 9 out of 29. That's not a bad record against Saints, considering how dominant we've been in Super League over the last 20 years.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Considering they've been one of these clubs that's gone down as well. So, listen, it's not a bad return at all. It's not a bad thing that they've been able to stay relatively competitive with us. That's it. That ground is just, it's a tough place to go. It is a tough place.
I tell you what, I'm glad we're playing them this week and not a couple of weeks ago when it was snowing on that Saturday. Imagine Hull KR on a Saturday with that snow coming down. That would have been horrific. At least the fans had a roof over their heads.
You have a roof over your head.
But what I mean is, it's more enclosed as a stadium, isn't it?
Yes.
The KCOM.
Well, that's it. You're looking at a bowl, aren't you? The KCOM, rather than as it is pretty much open down the far end anyway. With the snow coming in off the North Sea, I wouldn't fancy that.
I can gladly report that the lads from the Red Robin podcast tells me that the sun always shines in East Hull.
Does it?
I must have really bad sunglasses.
I'll just
all good ones that block out the sun.
Yeah. Hull weather. Let's have a look. So 31% chance of rain, light rain and a gentle breeze. 31% chance of rain at 8 o'clock on Friday currently.
Beautiful. Right, predictions, Kev?
Saints by 14.
And if they've got the runs.
And what? And if they've got quite a few missing?
Yeah.
Double that.
I actually said if they can't get off the toilet, Saints by 40. If they are okay, Saints by 16.
So we're not too far out then.
Yeah. No. So fingers crossed we can get a decent result on Friday night. And Kev, you will return for the instant fan reaction.
Yes. Will indeed.
With special guests.
With special guests. Who will be more drunk than I will be. Promise.
Before we go, Danny Hill on the score sheet this week for the academy. I think what 60 points to 12 was it at London or something like that. Resounding victory for the academy side. I think that I'm not sure. I think the video will be on Saints TV very, very shortly, if not already. You're watching that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm shaking my head because I can't remember. I'm too busy looking at the Saints hats and then being described as one size. Just not your size. 60 points to 18 it was the first try in club colours for Danny.
I hope the club aren't advertising these hats as one size fits all.
Well, no, it just says one size, so it doesn't say fits all at all. One size.
I was going to say I would have been getting trading standards. It's not even one size fits most. I noticed there's a couple of tweets on our Twitter account. Mr. Wireless, he'll just sit on top of the head as opposed to fitting. Ask me how I know. 26-inch circumference here. And I think there was another one. I think it was Dan Shakespeare saying the bobble hats.
I saw one that, and I've not got it in front of me, but it was an orange on a toothpick, which I thought was a great description. I don't know if they were describing you directly, but
me with a tan.
Take it, David. Take it.
Yeah, me with a fake tan. The orange. Bigger hats. That's what we need. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back Friday night for the instant reaction. Catch you soon.